No one is talking about this one AI service that you can sell to businesses, and it's one of the best opportunities out there as it's needed by literally millions of businesses. 80% of the process, that is sales and operations and delivery, can be automated, and it's super easy to get and to sell clients on this idea. I know all this because I've done it myself, and it's one of the services that I've sold in order to achieve financial freedom and travel the world and all that sort of stuff. Only when I did it, I did not have the benefit of AI. I did this a couple of years ago and I had to do it the hard way. But now with the advent of AI, it is easier than ever, but still super valuable to businesses. In this video, I'm going to talk about what this service is. I'm going to talk about why I believe it's the best thing to sell right now. And I'm also going to go through the specifics of how you can use AI every step to make it super easy for you to deliver. Now, what I'm going to talk about isn't a super sexy idea, or it's not super technically hard at all. In fact, it's very easy. And when I mention it and say what it is, you're probably going to think, Matt, is that it? But honestly, some of the best ideas out there are the most simple ones. So before I talk about what this service is, let me talk about something which not a lot of people talk about when it comes to services and AI services. When most people think about AI services, they think about delivering a thing to a client that uses AI, right? The thing that they deliver uses AI. This might be like a customer support chatbot. It might be a content creation tool which creates videos or scripts or blog posts with AI, right? They are delivering something which uses AI. But in fact, there's another way to look at it, which actually completely changes how you look at the AI landscape when you think about this. And the different way to look at this is selling a service which doesn't have AI included in what you deliver, but massively leverages AI in order to run the entire business, which it delivers this thing, right? So you are not delivering something which uses AI, you are using AI yourself to deliver a useful thing to a business. And at the end of the day, we are solving problems for clients, but we are the one using AI rather than we are delivering something which the client can use AI with. So when it comes to selling services, there are loads out there you can sell, but I believe this one is the easiest and the best and the quickest one to get up and running an actual business with. And this is selling websites to businesses that don't have websites and leveraging AI massively in the operational process and the sales process to sell and create these websites. Now you may be thinking, did I click on this video just for Matt to say, hey, create websites with AI? Yes, but hang on. There are 5 reasons why this is a really, really fantastic service to sell. And yes, it's not a super sexy idea, but I guarantee you lots of people are making lots of money with it right now. It's the main service that I sold in order to create a real passive income. And I'll talk about why it's very passive in a little bit as well. But there are 5 main reasons why this is a fantastic service to sell. So first of all, every business needs a website. I don't care where you're based. If you're based in London or New York, or if you're based in Mumbai, it does not matter. Every business needs a website, and it is proven time and time again, a business will make more money when it has a website. A website is the hub of a business's online presence, and without that hub, that business will be dropping customers and not picking up as much revenue as they could be. And this is true just for every single business everywhere in the world. And most importantly, all business owners know this. So it is not a hard sell to say, hey, you could improve your business by having a website. Secondly, websites are timeless, or relatively timeless. When we're talking about the world of AI, where everything's moving so quickly, websites are not something which are going to disappear tomorrow. Maybe in 20, 30 years, perhaps, but in the next 2, 3, 4 years, no. In fact, websites are a lot more powerful than they were a couple of years ago because so many people are using LLMs, so AI models, and one of the main places where LLMs get their information from is websites. So having a website that talks about your business gives these LLMs way more information about someone's business. So these are relatively future-proof, way more than anything else in the AI sphere. Thirdly, it is super easy to sell because everyone understands that their business needs a website. This is not really a negotiable. You may have people that don't have a website because they can get away with running their business and they don't need it, but they know, everyone knows that their business will improve with a website. So selling it is super easy. I've coached quite a few people through creating their own business online, selling their own services online in the tech space. And the biggest bottleneck that people come up against is the sales side, not being able to generate leads, not being able to sell those leads. And because a website is a very clear and easy and visible and tangible thing, it's much easier to sell than an AI agent, for example, which could be more valuable, but it doesn't make as much intuitive sense to someone as a website. People have visited websites thousands of times. They know what a website is. They've bought things through a website. They understand how a website fits into sort of like the business world and how people interact with businesses online. The fourth point is that if you structure it correctly, this can bring you in passive income. So the way that I used to do this was I would charge nothing up front for building a website, but I would charge monthly. This means that you're doing a reasonable amount of work up front. It's much less now with AI, but I'll talk about that in a second. But then you're reaping the reward every single month when they pay their monthly retainer fee. And this is what I call a website as a service. Just like as you have software as a service or platform as a service, where you get a thing in exchange for a monthly fee, it's exactly the same, but with a website. So when you're building it for a client, you are not giving them ownership of the website. You're giving them sort of like access to a website for a monthly fee, which means as long as their business is up and running, they're going to be paying you a monthly fee. The way that I used to structure this was that any changes they wanted to the website was included in that monthly management fee, along with like maintenance of the website, security updates, everything like that. And it essentially meant that once I created the website, I was just collecting a check month for month for month, and there were very few changes that I had to make to these websites. This essentially meant that whilst it wasn't 100% passive, once I created the website, there was basically no other work, which isn't completely passive, and I don't really think that passive income exists, but this is very, very close to it. There are months where I picked up $5,000 a month and I maybe did 4 or 5 hours work to maintain these websites, which gives you an hourly rate of like $1,000, which isn't bad. It's not passive, but not bad, right? And the fifth point is that if you're selling a website, you have massive opportunities to upsell. As I said, a website is kind of like a hub to a business's online presence. And from that hub, you can help them with lots of other parts. You could help them with their SEO, so helping their business appear more within search engines, but also large language models and AI searches, which is something new that's coming and which is going to be super valuable. You can help them with things like social media management, content creation. You can help them with operations. Essentially, once you've got your foot in the door and you've proven that you can create a website, then anything that is tech related is now in your sphere, which you can easily upsell to them because they are your customer, you have their trust, and it's very easy to sell. If you don't have these skills of SEO, or you don't have the skills of content creation, you can simply find someone that does, and then just arbitrage their hourly rate for your hourly rate, or however you want to charge. Essentially, the potential for upselling is massive in this scenario. So those are the 5 points why I believe this is one of the best services out there, which you can sell if you're new to selling AI services or services to businesses in general on the internet. So how do you actually deliver this service? How do you go out there and define an offer? How do you go and get leads? How do you sell those leads? How do you deliver and create these websites, even if you've got no technical skills? Well, let me show you. So I have a community. I'll link it down in the description below. This is my paid community here. Really cheap though for what you're getting. And I've got this section here in AI resources, which breaks down this entire concept and goes through lead generation, sales, fulfillment, upsells, all the tools and processes. Let's have a look at some of it. So when we're talking about lead gen, there are loads of ways which you can generate leads for businesses which do not have websites. What you can do, and what I used to do, was go to Google Maps, find a certain type of business, so search for like plumbers in a certain area, and then go through all of them and find the ones which do not have websites. Now you can use AI to leverage this massively. I had to do it manually. You can use AI and go out there and just scrape all of those businesses which are plumbing businesses, find the ones which don't have websites, put them into like an Excel CRM where you can keep all of these leads, and then you can systematically outreach. And I would outreach to them on WhatsApp, via SMS, via Instagram, via Facebook, via email. And again, you can use AI tools and scrapers, tools like Apify, tools like Apollo, to go out and find all the information that you need for these business owners. Now, once you've got these leads, what do you say to them? Well, on the outreach, what I used to do was say, hey, I saw you don't have a website. I've created a website for you. Would you like to see it? Now, this gets a mega response rate compared to just all those generic cold emails out there, because you're leading with value. You're saying, hey, I've created something for you. Now, what I used to do was I wouldn't create the website until they responded saying, I'm interested. But with AI, it's so easy to create these sites that you can do this. So whether you create the website before or after they respond, up to you, doesn't really matter. Try it out, see which works best. But then once they respond, you say, great, here's the website, let's get on a call and discuss the website. And you go over, you speak to them, you see what they want in the website, you learn about their business, you understand about them, you build rapport, and that's the way that you sell a service, is building rapport with the decision maker. Okay, so you found someone that doesn't have a website, you sent them a message saying you built them a website, you're getting on a call to show them the website that you have built them. How do you actually build this website? Now, there are loads and loads of tools out there when it comes to building websites, like Lovable, Cursor, Base44, so many out there. But what I would recommend and what I like best is using one called V0. V0 is really good. I think it's got one of the best designs out there. Like, it creates websites with the best designs, but also it allows you to create unlimited websites for just $20. So if you were to run this business, the operational cost to run this business would be like less than $100 every month, which, depending on how you price your services, could be like one client, could be less than one client, or could be 3 clients. So this is V0, and simply you just say, hey, I want a website for a plumbing business. And ideally what you would do here is you would scrape a load of information about the business before you create the website, and passing into the prompt, you would create a massive prompt in terms of all the information that you want to have on the website. You know, what colors you want to use, what sort of graphics you want to use, what pages, what things you want to talk about, what services they offer. But this is just an example of this working, and I've explained this all in this here. How you come and find all of this information, scrape it from the business, and how you can create these bespoke sites. Now, this is going to create a very basic site, which is not going to look that great at all because it's just a very, very basic prompt. But you're going to see, essentially, you can build these sites super quickly. You then get on a call, you sell them this website, which is generating here, and they say, yeah, okay, it looks fine, but we need to make some changes. You note down what changes you need to make, you make those changes, and then you sell it to them. A super interesting thing is you can create these websites here automatically via an API, although it's not V0's internal API. You can use a tool called Airtop to go and use V0 for you, and therefore you can create these websites without actually having to do it, which is a great way that you can build a load of automation into this workflow. And here you go. Here you can see a basic website for a plumbing website. And it's not fantastic, and I haven't given it any information, not even the name of the business. So obviously when you're doing this, you would pass in the name of the business, and you can automate so much of this process. You can automate everything from lead generation, you can automate cold outreach, sales, website creation, absolutely everything. I've got all the details within the mastermind. You do not need to be in the mastermind to know how to do this, but I've laid it out there. And if you want support from me, as someone who's sold this service before, then obviously that's in there as well. So there you go. This is what I believe is the best AI service, or the easiest AI service to sell at the moment, because every single business needs this, and there's so many businesses out there which don't have a website. Everyone understands the value of a website, and it is super easy to sell to businesses because people understand the value of a website. And if you're paying only $20 a month for V0, you can afford to sell websites for like $20 a month. You can sell your websites for, because if you've got 5 of those, yeah, you're not making a lot of money, but all your costs are covered, right? So if you're in a different economy, so not a Western economy, then if you make $1,000 a month, that might be a really great amount of money that can change your life. It means you don't have to work a job, means you can focus all your time on doing this and build it up more and more and more. So really, it doesn't matter where you're from, whether you're from a more developed economy or a less developed economy, this can work for you. Plus, you can automate basically all of this, from the lead generation to the outreach. You can do cold outreach, you could do cold calling automated. The sales process is the only real bit you have to do manually. Then the building of the website you can automate as well. And essentially, if I had all of these tools at my disposal a couple of years ago when I was running this, then my God, my life would be made so much easier. If you want more information about this service, how I would run it, how I used to run this, and how I scaled this up to one of my largest services, which I sold at my agency, then come across to the community. I'll put the link in the description, and I'll see you within there. Thanks for watching. I hope you've liked this video. Please do like it if you have liked it. And please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.